An expression of support for the Paris climate deal in the U.S. despite Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from it. A coalition of mayors, governors, and CEOs say they will go it alone and commit to the targets set by the agreement. The Paris Accord was signed in December 2015. The United States is now one of 3 countries not backing the deal. The backbone of the agreement is a commitment to keep global average temperatures from rising 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. Joining me live from Washington is climate crusader Jeffrey Sachs. His latest book is called Building the New American Economy. He is also the director of the Center for Sustainable Development. Jeffrey Sachs, welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
What will be the impact of the U.S. withdrawing from the Paris Accord, in your opinion?
I think the first impact is geopolitical. The United States has now set itself against the rest of the world. The U.S. role in the world will diminish. The amount of distrust will rise significantly, and we live in a more dangerous world. Donald Trump has really acted with incredible irresponsibility.
When you say we'll be in a more dangerous world, what do you mean?
I think that the United States cannot be trusted on many fronts under a Trump administration. Climate change is not a small matter. It's not, well, we're all a happy family. We disagree on small things. Climate change is an existential matter for the world. It's one of the most important issues. Clearly, all over the world, people are aghast at the degradation of American politics. What we're seeing is corruption at work. The oil and gas lobby, which owns the Congress, which has determined this policy, is grotesque because basically saying we're more interested in making our short-term profits than we are in the fate of the planet. And I think America's standing and the dangers for the world, not only in climate, but in having this powerful country that is not a trustworthy country, is very, very serious indeed.
When you say that this is about corruption, why do you think, spell it out for us, why do you say that the oil and gas lobby owns Congress? Why do you say that there's corruption involved?
Look at the letter that the 22 senators wrote to Trump, urging him to take the step that he did. Those 22 senators are on the pay of the oil and gas industry. This has been the dream of the Koch brothers for a generation. They have finally accomplished what they've been out to do, which is to be able to buy an administration and Congress that will give the green light for maximizing their heavily polluting industry and basically not give a damn about the fate of the world. And they've spent a tremendous amount of money. They have created a network of phony front organizations that are called think tanks, but are basically lobbying groups. They have funded a huge number of our Congress, overwhelmingly the Republican Party, and this is the fruits of their action, and it's extraordinarily dangerous and damaging.
For those who may not be familiar, who are watching right now, the Koch brothers are billionaire brothers in the United States. They own Koch Industries, and it's considered one of the top 10 polluters in the United States. And they have been said to give high amounts of money to, well, they have given large amounts of money to groups fighting regulations around climate change. When you say that the 22 senators who are opposed to climate change are essentially in their pocket, are bought by them, that is a serious charge. Are you saying that they're paid off or that it's through their campaigns?
It's mainly through their campaigns. But look at this EPA administrator, Scott Pruitt. This man is a non-entity who knows nothing. It would be of complete zero interest, except that he has been funded by Continental Resources, a major Midwest oil and gas company. He's been promoted all through his career, basically to be a hack and a flack for the oil and gas lobby. And now he's made it to EPA administrator. And listening to his press conference yesterday, it's unbelievable.
Let's take a listen to what he said, Jeffrey. Head of Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, saying he believes in climate change, but says there are climate exaggerators. Let's play the clip and then we'll get your reaction.
Global warming is occurring, that human activity contributes to it in some manner. Measuring with precision, from my perspective, the degree of human contribution is very challenging, but it still begs the question, what do we do about it? Does it pose an existential threat, as some say? You know, people have...
All right, your reaction to that, Jeffrey Sachs.
He's a disgrace and a danger, and he will be remembered, to the extent that he is remembered more than a tiny footnote, as an absolute disgrace. But this man has been on the take his whole career, has been paid for by the oil and gas lobby. It's as simple as this. It's not very complicated. It's just gross how much the money matters. And the Koch brothers, as you rightly said, are billionaires, but it's really interesting that each one is estimated net worth $50 billion. And one thing's for sure, saving the planet would mean they would not be worth $100 billion. They would lose most of their wealth indeed. And so for them, that's the real fight. And this is the fight for the planet. Is the planet run for these two individuals, or is the planet run for the world? And that's really what we're up against right now.
The Canadian government says it's going to carry on, that despite what the United States does, but does this decision make it harder for us? And take a listen to what our Environment Minister, Catherine McKenna, said about the advantages that perhaps could be reaped from the decision in the United States here in Canada. Take a listen.
I think we've been clear. We're deeply disappointed, but if the U.S. is going to move back, we're going to move forward. And we have a huge opportunity for Canada. We understand the economy is moving to a low-carbon future, and we have great innovations here. And so we're going to take advantage of that opportunity. Look, I'm more focused on how the world's going to move forward than spending a lot of time lamenting the U.S. decision.
All right. And she went on to say she believes this makes us more attractive, that Canada is developing a credible plan that provides certainty for business, that businesses in the U.S. like ExxonMobil say they will stay in the Paris Agreement, that they understand where the world is going. So putting your head in the sand and pretending like we're not moving to a low-carbon future is actually bad for business. How can Canada take advantage of what the United States has done?
Well, you know, I love Canada, and I also believe Canada can be a leader in a low-carbon economy. And I'm very much interested, for example, in Canada with its vast hydroelectric potential, providing a lot of clean energy for North America, even a lot more than it does right now. But I would give one suggestion to the Canadian government, and that is that the Canadian government can, by itself, stop the Keystone XL pipeline. This is a project that has no place in a safe climate world, and all the government has to do is stop the project. But rather than let Donald Trump decide whether that project takes place, the Canadian government should just say no to the project, because it is a wrong project. It will go bankrupt in the future in a low-carbon economy, and it should stop.
So I get the feeling that you think that Canada is speaking out of both sides of its mouth on this issue.
Canada, like some other countries, is doing a very good job in its domestic transformation, but it still wants to sell this polluting energy to the rest of the world. And I think that that is a mistake.
All right. Mayors and governors in the United States said they are prepared to carry on with the fight against climate change. Does it really matter if that's true? Does it really matter that Donald Trump, on the environmental file, does it really matter that Donald Trump has pulled out of Paris if they continue the fight at the state and the company level?
I think that almost everybody except the Koch brothers and people that they buy know the truth. So in that sense, I don't think that Donald Trump's pronouncements, they certainly don't mean anything regarding the science, the truth of climate change. They don't sway any opinions. This is corruption. And a lot will continue to go forward. But I think that people need to understand how precarious our situation is worldwide. We absolutely have to take strong, coherent actions in order to decarbonize. It will not happen by itself, even though certain good things will happen by themselves, not the pace and the depth of transformation. That cannot happen by itself. So what Donald Trump has done is dangerous for the whole world. And it's also dangerous for my grandchildren, and I really resent it. It's disgusting, and it's corruption.
Given everything you've just said, let me ask you one final question. What do you think the future of the Donald Trump presidency is in the United States?
Well, we don't know because obviously this man is unstable. This man has no business being president. It's not just about this issue. We certainly see a lot of problem evidence about the hacking and the engagement of a lot of Trump campaign officials with Russian intelligence. So we're waiting to find out. If we ever do find out, they just lie and lie, except if they've been caught on tape. That's a big problem. So who knows? But it is not good. And to just pretend everything's fine because it's a powerful country, so nobody wants to say anything insulting, is also not safe. We're in a dangerous situation, and we should acknowledge it, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
Jeffrey Sachs, the director of the Center for Sustainable Development. Your latest book is called Building the New American Economy. And Jeffrey Sachs joined me from Washington. Thank you.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.